The wheel of time turns, and ages come and go, leaving memories that become legend. Legend fades to myth, and even myth is long forgotten when the age that gave it birth returns again. In the third age, an age of prophecy, the world and time themselves hang in the balance. What was, what will be, and what is may yet fall under the shadow.
I honestly didn't think for a second that I would ever read this. But here we are. I've done it. I got through the first book of The Wheel of Time, Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. This is huge, guys. This is insane. Unprecedented. And you may say, what do you mean you never thought you'd read this? You know, look at all your fantasy books. But this is just such a commitment. This is 14 books. And it's chunky. You can't tell from this little thing, but it's like 900 pages. And it is dense. So yeah, of course, I thought I'd kind of talk about my experience with this book and just my journey into Wheel of Time. I hope I could make it through some of them, at least. It is very, very daunting. But yeah, as far as the Eye of the World, let's talk about this just a bit. So, we'll start with the general plot of this, the general story. I don't know if anyone kind of knows, but this is very trope heavy. You know, this is an older story, 1990, I think. Very much farm boy in a small town, chosen one type vibe. It obviously gets compared a lot to Lord of the Rings, and I may be alone in this or more biased with liking this. I've actually never read The Lord of the Rings, okay? I've watched the movies, and I really, really, really like them, but I knew enough to where I just wasn't interested in the books, honestly. It was just hard for me to get into. So this gave me that same Lord of the Rings vibe. Just cozy, traditional, just had that really, that feeling of just a great journey that's about to happen.
Here, Mr. Bilbo, where are you off to? I'm going on an adventure.
And, I may be alone in that. Because, of course, yeah, like I said, this gets compared a lot to Lord of the Rings because it's very similar to Lord of the Rings. During that time, if I don't already know, to get published, you kind of have to follow what was happening. You have to follow the standard of those times, and that was Tolkien. Something similar to that to get published. And I've seen many, many things saying that that's what happened with this, and I think it changed a lot in the other books, along with the Great Hunt. I got the next 2 and 3, by the way. Yeah. So that's kind of why it probably is very similar to Lord of the Rings, of course. Okay, but my general thoughts on it. We'll start with the story, like I said. Chosen one, farm boy type vibe. You're just kind of following our boy, or our guys, I guess you could say, through their journey across the whole world, basically. This is just one big journey. And I could see how that can be really slow for a lot of people. And it was slow. It's a very simple story. You don't really get much. But I think it did it for me. It was not bogged down by anything. I don't think it was ever boring, which, I wouldn't really, if someone told me exactly what this was, a 900-page book about just a slow journey following, our characters off being chased by the big bad guy, I'd probably say, not really my thing, but I enjoyed it. I really, really did. I think it worked, and I was hooked the whole time. That's just for the story. The characters themselves, I don't think they were think they were completely fleshed out. But once again, all this is grain of salt because it's just the first book of 14. So I know I'm just scratching the surface with this. Yeah, no real notable characters, I guess. There were a few that, kind of interest me a little bit. But yeah, no one with any insane depth. Just pretty standard characters you'd expect from this kind of old time fantasy. So even though I did like it, of course, it did have its issues, and that's more to do with the pacing, as you can probably imagine with a 900-page book like this. I did think it was a bit jarring towards the end. Everything kind of happens at once, which isn't a huge deal. Like I said, a lot of these are just kind of nitpicking because, which not to say, it should stand on its own, but once again, it's 14 books, and a lot's going to happen, and this is just building the base of the world. And while we're on that, the world building by Robert Jordan, man, it's so detailed. He tells you everything. You're so immersed in the world and just taken aback by how many layers a simple entering of a building can give you. It's just so much happening, and I feel like a lot of people don't like that, but I don't know. I think it just gives life to the world and makes you really appreciate it more. I think Robert Jordan does a great job with it. But yeah, so yeah, I'm not going to give it too much griping as far as just the pacing, even though everything did kind of happen all at once. Kind of jarring, kind of takes you out of it a bit because it's like, okay, we're done now. But yeah, it was fine. I think it still worked enough. But in terms of overall enjoyment, if you can't tell, you could count me on board with people that really enjoy it. I think it was good, solid quality. I'm not, wasn't absolutely in love with it necessarily, but like I said, it hooked me. There was a few slower parts, but that's just what this is. This is just slow. It's as simple as that. There's no way around that. This is a slow and methodical and dense and world-building, rich book series. And if you like that, then I think you'll like this. It really just depends. You really got to stick with it just from this one. And like I said, I did have the second book. I've already moved on to The Great Hunt. And I got these big ones. Look at that. I'm actually right now. Say in the comments, you prefer the small little mass market paperbacks or like these big trade paperbacks? I still don't know. I got this one because I felt like it was rare because I've never seen these before. Literally, it's nice. I don't know. Let me know. But yeah, I got this one. I'm like 100 pages into The Great Hunt, and it's already a bit more complex, honestly. But yeah, that's kind of my general thoughts of The Eye of the World Within the Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. I'm really looking forward to continuing my journey. And if any of you have read it, made the full voyage through, let me know. I know a lot of people kind of get tired of it in the famous, what's it called, the famous slog, which I think is like books 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or something. But I heard like 1 through 5 is like pretty peak, and then it gets slow, and everyone hates that Twilight one. I think that's 10. I'm gonna try and get through at least these 3, and then we'll see where we are at that. But yeah, let me know. Let me know if y'all read it. Let me know if you love it. Let me know if you hate it. Yeah, those are my thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.